Because languages, there are languages that are inflatable in the sense that it changes at the cost of you working with it. So we focus on meaning because we are presenting the message, not in any way presenting the form. We are not presenting the form of Greek in our own language. We are presenting the message of the Greek into our own language. And we focus on meaning. Yes, we focus on meaning instead of word to word. And that's why most of you see, if English, maybe Greek, will say a particular word sentence. When you want to translate it into your language, we are careful to focus on the structure of your language, not the structure of Greek. Because we are not presenting that message to Greek people, to Greek people. We are presenting it to your language. So how can your people, the receptors, listen to it and understand it? So we have to focus on the meaning, the structure of your own language. So that's why we focus on meaning when it comes to OBT, instead of word-to-word translation, not literal, but rather meaning-based. That did not connote that we are downgrading word-to-word understanding, the meaning of the word, translating into meaning. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Some few years ago, here in Ekwa Seminary Church, a consultant was presenting a sermon. And being a consultant in Bible translation, he said something. They were translating the Bible from the source text to another language, the receptor language. And there is this place in the New Testament that says, "Be gentle as a dove," right? And so the culture of the recipients, they don't see dove as gentle. So they say, no, doves are not gentle. So now, I now understand why you have to look at how the meaning, the focus is on meaning. What is the writer trying to communicate? And how do the people of the receptor language understand the message? Because if they don't understand the message, they will not make meaning from it. Communication has not taken place. Now,
okay, you made mention of the word a consultant. But for people here, I'm very sure they don't know who is a consultant and what a consultant does. Please, Mr. Austin, can you tell us who a consultant is?
Okay, a consultant is an expert who is charged with the responsibility of making sure that the Bible translation work is accurate, the words used in the translations are correct, and make sure that the right words, as in the right idioms, are being used in the translation. So his responsibility is to checkmate the activities of translation, to make sure that its wordings goes as it should be, as it is in the original text, not changing its words.
All right, thank you. Talking about the consultant now. So what are the criteria needed to become a consultant? What are those things that one must attain in order to become a consultant? Our question goes to Pastor Success Jomar.
Okay, thank you. Being a consultant is a very tedious professional journey. And for me, for example, I'm a consultant in training, serving with Grace Church of Gratitudes, an organization funded by Global Partnership, that's Weekly Worldwide in the US. Pastor Michael too is also a consultant in training. Pastor Mantotu is also a consultant in training, but with a bias in OBT, me a bias in Hebrew, and he a bias in Hebrew. Now, some of us here, we already have theology and a BA in theology, and some of us also have an MA in theology, because I did my BA and MA here in biblical studies, but even though that is helping me very well. But then, in the translation world, what you do in the theological field, when you get there, you will see something, you will see so many different things there. And that is where many people do not understand what the translators are doing. So, the criteria from global partnerships and 4BI, maybe we heard that, Forum of Bible Translation Agencies International. mandates that for you to be a consultant, you must be serving with a Bible translation organization. That is one. Then you must be a consultant in training, serving as long as up to 10 years, checking works. And then you must be under a mentor. Our mentor, me and Pastor Michael, is Reverend Dr. Paul Kuchi. You may know him very well. It's not something that is hidden. And every of your progress is being checked and evaluated as time goes by. So that you
Get them, let them first of all know what they are up to before you begin your translation work. If you begin your translation work without first of all letting them into what it means, in fact, all your effort will be like in vain, because they will tell you what you are doing is rubbish, because they don't really understand what you are doing. They don't really understand what you are doing. So you must first of all orientate them on what you are about to begin in that language or in that culture before you begin. That is in the aspect of literacy.
Yes, that of OBT. Just the way we have different departments in JETS, not only in translation, but also if you go to various universities, you have a department. Mama started making an example of nursing. When you start nursing, there are different departments in medicine that one can major. So when you reach that stage of masters, because that's when you start mastering. My brother said that he did biblical studies here, Hebrew, and now he's doing Hebrew, classical Hebrew consultancy. That tells us that there is a major. And the difference is because we want to see how we can help, assist in that particular dimension. When talking about OBT, Oral Bible Translation, there are techniques and there are principles applied to each and every translation work. When we're talking about consultant is the final person that approves whether this particular work is being done well or not. And that's why he needed to have that knowledge and understanding of what the principles of OBT is all about. If it is meaning-based, that we're working on it, do these people from the translation advisor down to the MTT, what we call MTT is mother tongue translators. See us here, we are not the ones that speak those languages or write those languages. We work with the community people, the receptors community. Those are the MTTs, we call them MTTs, mother tongue translators. We work with them, we advise them that this is the principles of how to go with this work. When they finish the work, we see it, we send it to the back translation, who will then say it back to the consultant. Consultant will check it and ascertain if this work, these people did it well or not. There's room for revise. If we discover that there are errors, then they will go and redo it again. And when they finish doing it, he will come again and then approves it. And then faith comes by hearing will be the final stage whereby they can give you go ahead to document it or maybe to start playing it to the community. So OBT is specialized in that. OBT so that it is spoken. Since it's spoken, mommy talks about linguistic. And then that particular mark is needed. My brother talks about NACA. There's something we call NACA, naturality, accuracy, clarity, and then acceptability. If those things are not achieved in OBT, we work with those things. How natural is this particular work when it comes to OBT? But for written, my brother will talk about more on that when he's answering the question of Hebrew classical. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, considering classical Hebrew and translation in JET, what is JET looking up to, and what would JET expect from people like me and those in the department? I want to say it comes with its own challenges, and the translation world, you cannot be a consultant of Old Testament, let me put it that way, if you don't understand the languages that the Bible was written. That is Hebrew and Greek. So if you don't know Hebrew, by the time they put the text before you, it will look as if you are lost. I thought I knew Hebrew because Uga taught me there. So when we went with our masters from here to TCNA and we sat on that cookie just for posterity diploma course, he came and wrote Hebrew on the board and said, "Oh, I'll translate." It was as if I should pee on my body. We have to start afresh again in him. So that as a translation consultant in Old Testament Bible, you should be able to maneuver the scriptures in its original language. And when we say Hebrew, it's not as if you should be able to speak Hebrew like a professional or like a native Hebrew, no. But you should be able to understand Hebrew to a level whereby when they bring work to you from US or from anywhere, you should be able to attend to the work as a professional. Are we getting it? But it is a kind of a concern because I know people who finished, not here now, even there too, all the institutions I've gone to, even the TCNN itself, they are struggling with languages. Some persons have masters in Old Testament, but they cannot recite the Hebrew alphabet. It is a problem. And it's one thing for you to know how to preach the Bible, but you know, in our churches, we are preaching errors. By the time you go into translation, that is where you know that, oh, I'm not supposed to say this. I'm not supposed to say that. Let me not say much, but it is very important, and this is what JET expects from us, and we are ready to give back to our society.
Thank you very much. Because of time, we learned there is a program going on. So in 1 minute, I want to just ask this question, and it's very, very important. Now, one of the major trends in Bible translation is the use of AI, right? We have other translation tools, ABTT, Render, Paratext, and the rest of them.